Original house where Loretta Lynn grew up. Her baby sister, Crystal Gayle, she lived in this house until she was 4 years old, and then the family moved to Wabash, Indiana for work. This house was built in 1900 by John Red Butcher, who was Loretta's great uncle, so it's over 100 years old. Wow. About 80% of the furniture in this house is all original from when they grew up here. This old swing here is a swing that they had out on the front porch, and the picture in the middle, that's their mommy and daddy sitting in that swing. Oh. Ted and Clary Webb. And then this is Loretta and her mommy, and this picture was made at the premiere of Coal Miner's Daughter. They had 2 premieres here on the East Coast. They had one in Nashville and one in Louisville. And Loretta took all her brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews to those. Like I said, I'm her niece Connie. My dad was her brother Herman. So we got to go get out of limos and rub elbows with the movie stars for a couple nights.
That's pretty cool.
What they listened to the Grand Ole Opry on. Back in those days, they had no electricity in this Holler, and that was battery packed.
Oh, really?
Dad said that they could only listen to certain programs because the batteries were so expensive that they had to conserve them. Yeah, back in those days, too, the road you guys came up on, that wasn't a road back then. That was just a walking path. And if you had anything to drive, people drove through the creek. So you might remember in the movie, they tell Dew he'll never get that Jeep up in this Holler to visit Loretta. Well, that was the reason why he had to drive through the creek to get back here. Now, this old guitar, this belonged to her daddy's brother. That was her Uncle Carmen. And Dad told me Uncle Carmen's guitar was the first guitar that they had here at the house. He said that they all learned how to pick and sing on that a little bit. So that could possibly be the first guitar Loretta ever held in her hands.
Wow.
These are pictures of their grandparents. This is their great-grandma and grandpa Butcher. The Butcher family is who the Holler's named after, Butcher Holler. And then that's their great-grandma and grandpa Webb. Webb is Loretta and Crystal's maiden name. But that's where a lot of the Indian comes from. She was full-blooded Cherokee Indian. Their mommy's dad's up here in the center, their grandpa Ramey, and that's the side of the family that we're kin to Patty Loveless on. Oh. Patty Loveless is a cousin to Loretta and Crystal. Her maiden name is Patty Ramey, and she's from Elkhorn City in Pike County, Kentucky, which is just south of here on our US 20 for Loretta.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people don't realize that besides singing, Ronnie's a very talented artist. He came up here early one morning and he took pictures through the house, and he said, I'm going to do a painting called Reflections of a Coal Miner's Daughter. And that's Loretta as a little girl standing in one of the chairs looking into the mantel there and seeing her reflection as a country music star. I just thought he did a beautiful job with that.
That is amazing.
And then right over here we've got a picture of Crystal when she first started singing. And she was about 15 years old in this picture. And my dad and my Uncle Don had this band in Wabash, Indiana, and they would play behind her on the weekends. But if you notice this picture, it says Star of the Indiana Jubilee, Brenda Webb. Well, her given name was Brenda Gayle.
And they didn't want it confused with the other
Brenda
singer?
Lee.
Yes, I read that.
So they made her change her name. And her and Loretta were driving around Nashville, and she said, Loretta, I don't know how to rename myself. Well, they passed a Crystal fast food restaurant. And Loretta said, Brenda, you like those tiny Crystal burgers? And she said, well, yeah. Loretta said, well, then I got a pretty name for you. We're calling you Crystal Gayle. So that's how she got her stage name. And the city of Paintsville, Kentucky gave the Webb family the key to the city. So if you guys happen to get over in Paintsville and get locked up, give me a call. I've got a key to that place. But now that is Loretta's obituary card from her funeral. The back page of it, they did the handwritten lyrics to Coal Miner's Daughter, which I thought was a very nice touch.
This is her obituary over here?
Yeah, that's her obituary card. But thank you guys for coming up, and thank you for singing on our porch.
Thank you for the
And look
tour.
at where your picture is. She put it right there on the mantle.
I'll have to get a little frame for it.
That is amazing.
But we have our guest book here.
You want to
We
sign
ask
it?
people to sign that instead of our walls.